That's so crazy. Now, I think the cool thing about seeing your relationship or your marriage, you're married to someone who is a non-Nigerian.
Yes.
And Cynthia, you are also getting engaged or getting married to someone who's a non-Nigerian. I think that is the coolest thing ever, like, to see that. So, going to transition it a little bit to talk about that. Like, were your families receptive? Like, coming, you know, being Nigerian, were your families receptive to a non-Nigerian? Were they okay with that? Was that hard? Okay.
For me, my fiance is from Cameroon, and he's from the English side of Cameroon. So it was, I thought, I had all these ideas in my head before I brought it up to my parents. I was already planning how it's going to go. They're going to reject it. They're going to say, no, you're the Ada, you're the first daughter, no way. If you go outside, everybody else will follow you and go outside, you know? So I was like, first I was like, okay, hold on. So I thought about it, and I was so scared to tell my parents. But when I did, they're like, good! You know, you know, so I was like, I was so shocked. I was like, Dad, what is Cameroon? Isn't that next door? Come on now, we're all brothers and sisters. What is there? You know, I was like, whoa. So, that's awesome. It was me that I was putting so much pressure on myself. And when I brought it out, everyone was like, Cynthia, seriously?
This is the greatest. They were so
accepting
like,
of it. Is that what you're worried about? I'm like, oh man. So
Thank God. We thank God for that. That's really awesome. What about you? Was your mom receptive to it?
Both parents were. They kind of were like, so do you like him? Because him and I dated off and on for 10, 11 years. So it was like, he's always there. What's his story? Like, we see that he treats you well, so what's behind it? So they actually fell in love with him and his character first before they even knew that I was serious about wanting to marry him. So, I mean, just the way that he accepted the culture, like, all of the aunties and uncles in Houston love Abraham. Like, so he's like that one Mexican that's like tearing it up. I'm like, can you sit down, please? Like, and he's like doing he's doing all the traditional dancing and the zonto and everything, and I'm like, I can't even handle you right now. So they love him, and it wasn't a pressure. But I was telling them earlier, like, now my mom is like, telling all the single Nigerian girls, maybe you need to just forget Chidi. If there's a Brad, go and get Brad.
Yes, there's a Brad.
Find Miguel. What's the other name? Orlando or Fernando? Find them. Because these Nigerian boys, I don't know. I don't. So now she's like suggesting everybody, just break out of it. And go for whoever. Like, yes. For you and whatever. Whoever's interested in you and treating you well. So.
Yes. And you just never know. Like, you can't place limits on God. Like, what God has for you is for you. And if he is white, black, Nigerian, from Cameroon, Mexican, you just have to accept that.
Right.
You have to. So what about you ladies? Now, are you guys open to marrying someone that you're from Congo, okay? And you're Nigerian. So are you guys open to marrying someone who's non-Congolese?
100%.
Oh, she was like 100%. Girl, you were so like, that was really quick. That was real quick.
Yes.
Okay.
I mean, I've never been, I always saw myself very Pan-African or culturally savvy because I grew up in different places. You know, I was in South Africa, then all around. And I can't really say that I was stuck to the Congolese culture. I love my culture, but it's like, I don't like people to stay in, I don't want you to stay in one state of mind. I want you to be open. So if I'm dating someone who's so stuck in the culture, I mean, I haven't like put like, no way, no Congolese, like out of my sight. No, I'm open to that. If we can, you know, my thing is if mentally we can attract each other, like if I'm attracted to your mind, that's all that matters. Like your skin color shouldn't. Of course, I mean, no offense, I ain't gonna do an Asian, but I'm just,
no filter.
Well, I mean, that's just my preference, you know, because we gotta relate to some, you know what I'm saying?
Hey, Asians
some
eat
level.
rice though.
Oh my God.
It's the smushy rice.
But then the culture berries too. It's a little
okay.
Yeah.
It's a little too much. All right. Now, Linda, okay, quickly. So tell us now, are you open to marrying someone that's a non-Nigerian?
Yes.
Very much. Woo.
Yeah, 100%. Like her, absolutely.
That was quick. All right. So Nigerian men. We settled that. All right. So we're gonna go ahead and move on to the next. So now the next question I want to ask is, tell me, like, being in a relationship, sometimes it's a little difficult to really focus on God. Like, especially, like, Fiamma, you've been 10 months into your marriage. So I want you to speak to us a little bit, and we'll get from everybody else's perspective too. But how is it how do you balance continuing a good, great relationship with God when you now have someone else in your life, like all up in your space? Like, y'all live together now, you see each other every day. When do you find time to have your quiet time? You sleep in the same bed because you no longer sleeping in your own bed by yourself in your room, living your doing you. It's different when somebody else comes in your life. So how do you balance all that?
Honestly, the thing that works for me, and I feel like my relationship with the Lord is even closer now. I don't even know how to describe it, but for me, a lot of, or being married to him was really a huge prophetic act as far as my ministry, what God was speaking to me, what he was wanting to do to me. And I feel closer to the Lord being married to him. So I already tell people I have a love like Christ loved the church. That's how I really feel my husband loves me. So it makes me cling to the Lord closer, not because I feel like I'm going to lose him, but because I'm like, Daddy, you gave me something so good, and I have to take care of what you gave me. That shows you that I appreciate it.
Amen.
So for me, I started waking up earlier just to get time with the Lord, because my love language is quality time, and I feel like that's something that he's placed in me, so I feel like that's how we communicate. So I have to give him time. So either I wake up earlier before my husband gets up, or I stay up after he slept and just
get that time.
Worship. And he just is like, I know her. She'll be speaking in tongues for the next 3 hours. I'm going to sleep. Like, that's her. So I have to I have to.
That's good. And that's how you keep your sanity too.
Because I love my husband, but I feel, and I'm like, I knew that I had issues, and I knew that I was meticulous about stuff. But being married has just exposed even more stuff. It is literally deliverance and love.
Amen.
Title of my book, guys.
Deliverance and Love. That book is
it ain't like tomorrow, but it's coming. So just different layers that I had thought I had worked on of insecurities that I had. It's like, I have this man that loves me in my ugly. Like, I have some low lows whenever I'm dealing with something like issues of the heart or body issues or whatever, and he's just like, you're beautiful. Like, I don't see it. I don't care. And I'm like, and I appreciate him, but it's like, God, thank you. Like, this is how you see me, Daddy.
Yes.
Like, thank you. So being married to him helps me be more cognizant of how Christ is towards me.
Yes. Whew, that was good, girl. That was really good.
First chapter on the book.
Yeah. Deliverance and Love.
Yes.
Deliverance and Love. Be sure to keep a lookout for that when it do come out. All right. So Cynthia, how are you now? Okay, so you're engaged, so you guys are not living together yet, but of course y'all are putting things into practice.
Yes.
So how are you finding ways to balance and learn how to balance for whenever you guys do eventually move in together? Like,
okay, well, for us,
deep side.
Yeah,
deep.
We got okay. Like, how am I? And even like, sometimes are you finding it challenging to like still maintain that intimacy with God? Like,
Yeah. Okay. So, me and my fiance now, yes, we're not moved in together and settled together yet, but so far, like, we've been trying to put God into different areas in our life, more like, for instance, finances. We have started going to financial classes together, and we graduated yesterday.
Yay!
We haven't put our budgets together yet, but just whenever we do, we want to have a Christ-like look on how to spend money in our relationship and how to, manage our finances, how Christ would want us to manage our finances. And we just been talking about, having the same goals as far as finances go, as far as children go. So we've been praying more as well together instead of separately. And just, we're just like in a developmental stage, because right now there's been so much things being pulled out of me and him as well. So we find ourselves like praying together more because as we're now about to be married, it's like so much things is getting, becoming exposed.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I was like, oh my goodness. Like, it was easier when we were just dating.
Right.
Yeah.
And we'd be like, oh, go your own way. Let me go my own. Now it's like, I can't just go my own way because we have to practice now.
Yeah.
Because when we're married, we're not going to go our own ways. We have to figure out how to pray about this and come together. So it's just really been a transition.
Yeah.
A huge transition in as far as prayer life goes. I've been trying to actually spend more time even by myself, because I notice when I'm with him, I'm like, I need time by myself. And the Lord, and I'm like, how am I going to be when I'm married? And I like what you said, how, you know, you still get up in the morning, you still go do your thing. Because sometimes I think about that, like, how am I going to be? Because sometimes I just want to be alone and spend that quiet time, you know, with the Lord. So I would just say I would label mine transition. A lot of transition.
Yeah. A lot of transition.
A lot of transition.
But that's good. I think two very important things that I got from the both of you is here you are, you're now married and you're starting to realize like, okay, if I need to get up a little bit earlier, if I got to stay up later to have my time, no matter what, I need to make sure that I have my time. But you guys are not married yet. You're not living together, but you're building a solid foundation by praying together and not missing those opportunities to grow and build. Like that's solid foundation. That's so important, but you're still getting your quiet time. You still, I think that's important to realize too, that you, even when you're engaged or when you're married, you still need to never neglect that quiet time that you have with God. Like that's important, and you be wanting it too.
Yeah, you really do.
She's like, I can't wait to spend time with God. Like, he just did this. Like, all this just done been exposed. What? Credits go? No, I'm just playing. You're silly. All right. Oh, Lord. Now, Linda, you are someone that I look up to so much because, girl, she got it together. Like she bad. Like you ain't got, you barely got debt. Well, you really don't have any debt, right? Or
I have a mortgage.
You have a mortgage.
Oh,
Hold
on,
I got Sally Mae.
My car's paid for. I don't have no loans.
I have a little bit of student. Let me take that back for grad school. I do have a little bit.
A little.
Anyway, but you got your finance together. You own a lot of stuff, and I look up to you in that because I'm like, wow, like. You are really embracing the single journey.
Absolutely.
You are someone who's saying, I'm not going to wait for a man to do this for me. Right. But, you know, they talked about that importance of quiet time. Are you really taking that time to, like, develop that relationship with God or your relationship with God to make sure you're not neglecting it even before you get into marriage?
Right. Great question. For me, I'm not going to say it's a struggle because I do make time for God, but I know that I could be doing more, you know? I know that sometimes I'll look up and I'm like, okay, I only spent 30 minutes, you know, actually even journaling or talking to God, you know, here and there. And then the next day it might be like, oh, thank you, God, for not, you know, having anything bad happen to me, you know, just very rush. So I know I could do better in that, you know. And another thing with the singleness part, I know I don't spend time asking God for, you know, a mate, a spouse, or what I would like to see in that. It's like, it's here. I'm like, I know what I want, and I know God knows my heart, and he knows what I want too. But I could do better in that arena. But I do spend time with God, but I know it could be better.
Could be better. I like the fact that you said you don't spend time praying like, God, bring me this husband.
Yeah, I don't.
You don't.
No.
Now is there a reason why you don't?
I was telling them out there, I just feel like, you know, everything is going to happen the way that God has it set up for you. And I know that, I mean, I pray over health, I pray over my family, I pray for family in Nigeria, I pray for my friends. But I just feel like he's going to bring the right person for me. And I shouldn't, you know, he knows what I want. I've said it before. I mean, and I know you should pray without ceasing, but I'm like, that I feel like it's handled, you know.
Amen. That's faith right there.
She went Olivia Pope. It's handled.
It's handled. Like, it's handled.
That show, actually.
Different segment. For real.
Let's not go there.
Yeah, we're not going to go there. All right. So what about you, Elizabeth? What are the things that you do where you're finding like that balance and let me spend time with God in my singleness? Am I enjoying it? Am I taking it, you know, before you even get married?
Okay. To me, I think like her, I don't really spend time praying about it. Because I'm a strong believer in what you focus on grows. But yeah, you take it to God. Like, God, I want to get married. You pray for that and kind of like leave it on the side. Yeah, God's got it. But what I do is I want to leave this earth empty. So whatever I can do as a single person, I'm doing it right now.
Beautiful.
And there's a quote Joyce Meyer always says, live your life now on the way to where you're going. Because when you're going to get there, there's going to be more trials and tribulations. And then you're going to want to go to the next level, and there's going to be trials and tribulations. So I feel like I'm enjoying the season now, because whether that's guaranteed for me or not, because some people don't get married, right?
Right.
So am I going to stick, am I going to be like bitter in this moment?
Right.
Right.
Because I don't know. Yeah, I'm believing God for it. Like, I want to get married, but I'm not gonna be so focused on that. When it comes, it will come. So, like she said, working on your finances, working on you. Like, can you get married to yourself? Like, would you want to marry yourself? I mean, if you can't answer that question, don't even get in there. You know what I mean? Like, work on making yourself a better person. I'm really big on that. So I stay busy. Like, I do. And I pray about it sometimes. Like I mentioned before, some people ask me, do you want to get married? Yeah, I want to get married, but I also want to enjoy being single. Because, listen, we're going to be dragging you one day, old, can't travel. You know what I'm saying? Then you're going to be wishing you did travel.
Right, exactly.
Because people that I know that are married are telling me, oh, Elizabeth, travel. I'm like, oh, trust me, I will. You know what I'm saying? So I think I'm taking this time, like everybody should just enjoy, whether you're married, single, whatever, enjoy that season to the fullest. Because the grass is always green on the outside. Right. Like single people are looking at married people are looking at single people.
Looking at the other side.
Everybody's wishing that was somebody. We're never satisfied as humans, and that was the revelation God gave to me. Like, listen, enjoy now. Like, what are the gifts I put inside of you? Like, why you gotta wait to get there? You know what I'm saying? You're doing your mortgage, you're getting a house. Like, why you gotta wait to get there to start working on it?
Right.
So if you want a business, bam, do it now. Because when kids come, you're probably not gonna have an opportunity to do it. So that's how I'm really working it. And my personal relationship, like, I think I always put my commitments, like, God comes first, family, then my ministry, then anything else. So I work on that relationship with God, and I think being single was the best thing that could have happened to me during the season. Because if I did get married when I thought I should have, all that mess that I still got inside of me would have came out. Man, I had envy, jealousy, bitterness, unforgiveness from from people that hurt my mama back in the day. You know, stuff like that that God really revealed to me. And then you built a relationship with Him. So last year I was dealing with bitterness. This year I'm dealing with like you think you confident and positive, then all of a sudden you dig in some, do I have some insecurity? So every month is like a journey with God, and that's how I'm taking my single moment. Like, I'm gonna teach my kids something that's genuine. So I'm not gonna sit up there and talk to you about something that's fake, like sometimes our parents do, you know what I mean? So I'm just saying. So I'm gonna tell you.
Different segment. We can't talk about that.